Top of the hour in Xfinity Series practice, then racing. K&N Pro Series racing at 2 o'clock. Xfinity Series final practice at 3. Qualifying for the Cup Series at 4:30. And at 6 o'clock, NASCAR America from right here at the track, covering all of the stories that have been laid upon NASCAR. One, of course, the biggest, Dale Earnhardt Jr. won't be racing this weekend. They will cover all of the angles that are taking place at NASCAR America. That's at 6 o'clock right here at the track. Dave Burns.
Rick, Kyle Busch is waiting for his crew to finish up some final work, getting it into qualifying trim, that 18 car. Here were his comments at the end of his race trim practice.
I was trying to see if I could get the lap time back in, and I don't know where the hell the lap time went. It was calmer to drive it through, but then the more I tried to move the speed back up and drive it harder, the more it did the same thing, but it's definitely way slower. I think it lost front steer.
I checked in with crew chief Adam Stevens for a little more insight on that, and he said, what, you mean the ever-changing track conditions here at Loudon, New Hampshire? And I don't know if this track is any more tricky, Steve, than the others when the sun comes out and it changes, but he seemed to think that they were chasing a little bit the track conditions here in this session.
Maybe Adam Stevens knows better than me, because I've chased Loudon for every minute of every practice since I've been coming here. This track is just so temperamental, but I think what's important is, you know, I question if Kyle Busch is as concerned about lap times as Charlotte Motor Speedway, where he knows how he wants the car to feel. If it feels good, it runs fast. There's something about New Hampshire that drivers, in my opinion, really need to focus on the lap time, because this is probably as big a place as any. Here in Indy, and I know they look totally different, but because they're flat, I think it's kind of that same sort of feeling. I personally, no offense, DJ, I don't care how your car feels. If it runs fast on those old tires, then that's what we want in it, because this is a track that you can have long green flag runs, and a good car that makes good lap time can somehow make up some positions.
Yeah, I can remember a number of times to watch Ryan Newman, who had a great finish last week and certainly helped them in the chase standings. But I can remember many times making a change here, and I say, man, that felt so good. That's great. You were 2/10 slower every single lap. And I said, well, it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't feel good back about 10th or 12th or 15th, that's fine, but we got to do something. And I know the time that I won a race here, we made a shock change in the very last practice right at the end, and it made my car really rotate through the center of the corner to an uncomfortable level. But I'm telling you, it picked up 1/10 and a half over anything that we had done on old tires, and it was just incredible. And I went on and won the race, and that's just the kind of things that you have to put yourself as a driver in that position. Takes me back to our interview that Jeff did with Austin Dillon, talking about, well, his car didn't really feel all that good. He didn't feel like he really attacked, but he's still third on the chart right now. So sometimes it's not all about that feel. Just like what Stevie's talking about, it's about that speed and what you need to do. Easy to overdrive this place.
You always want to be fast when you come to New Hampshire. And guys are going to want to be fast in not only the Cup Series. We mentioned guys who do double duty. Well, Ryan Newman is going to do double duty, but it's going to be double duty in a modified. The Wheeling Modifieds are running here. The K&N Pro Series is running here. A lot of racing taking place this weekend at New Hampshire.
Oh, it's a packed weekend, and I love to see the variety of racing. You know, these modifieds, I'm used to seeing, I grew up in the Northeast, but I'm used to seeing on little bull rings, quarter mile and smaller. This is like the Talladega for modifieds.
Oh, yeah.
They draft, they actually run a restricted horsepower engine because they run so much speed compared to a Cup car. You see how much tire they have in these things, those big spoilers. It is about as rough as Talladega, too, watching these modifieds race here. It's always, but you're right, a whole weekend of racing.
And Ryan Newman is going to be a part of the Wheeling Modified race, but his car is pulled back into the garage, Kelly.
And Ryan just giving some feedback after he was on track saying he jumped the seam on the first lap, then it just washed up in the middle of 1 and 2, but he definitely felt like this setup has a little more speed in it. On the season as a whole hasn't really been what this 31 team has hoped for, but in speaking with Luke Lambert, the crew chief, he said, look, we're really building some consistency and momentum, especially over the last month or so, and look at what one good finish can do. Third place last week jumped him up 2 spots in the chase standings. Luke had a big smile on his face when I saw him this morning and said, yep, that was the start. Now we just need to keep building on this momentum. That's what they're trying to do here in New Hampshire.
As we're talking about Ryan Newman, let's flash all the way back to 2002 when he got his first win. Actually ended up being a rain-shortened race, but it was a win in the column of the ones you want the most. Because you don't want top 5 and top 10s as much as you want those wins. And that was Ryan Newman's first, and it came right here at this track.